To do the replacement of the fuel pump assembly today, and so I'll walk you through the procedures here. There are some things that we'll talk about that we need to be extra careful with, and when I get to those we'll cover that. So first thing is we just need to remove the snap ring. It's pretty simple, kind of like almost like a ring on a piston. Just start on one side, comes off pretty easy. I have already taken this apart and did the pump assembly, and so we'll walk through it again. Grab a screwdriver and just you can just kind of work it up a little bit, and it pops out. Now there will be fuel in these lines. As you remove this, you've got an O-ring here. Make sure you grab that so it does not fall down in the tank, and then we just kind of work the cell out. Be careful of the float that's in the bottom. And I still have a little bit of gas in mine because it's from the factory, so I've got maybe a gallon of gas in there. So, and as you can see in the bottom of my fuel, I've got gas there. So I'll take this out and just kind of come back here and tip it up so it drains back into my tank so it doesn't make a mess all over the garage. And I'll set it here on my table. Move the cell out of the way, keep it standing up, gas inside. Trusty blue shop rags always come in handy. I'm getting gas everywhere again, so bear with me. Alright, so with this, talking about this procedure, you can either, I'll just leave it up here, all around here. In the instructions, we talk about these tabs. There's 3 of them, and we need to be extra careful with them. So as you can see, I've worked around, actually had to get a smaller flathead screwdriver, slot screwdriver, and then you just kind of work it back and forth. Oh, whoops. One thing you got to do, you got to disconnect this little deal here, which is your fuel level. And that just comes apart. Kind of pull it out slow. Set that to the side. And as you can see, I've already got my high pressure pump in here. I did this a little while ago. So the one thing that you got to do is, if your kit comes with the wiring harness on there, you don't need to use it. The factory harness that plugs in will work. This little filter comes off the bottom of the pump. Fairly simple. You just got to work it off nice and easy. It goes on the new pump nice and easy, and as it goes in, the pump will press it in so it stays tight. You work the clear hose off the top of the pump, off this one, nice and easy, don't break the line, and then you zip tie it back together. When you put it together, make sure your pump is laying flat in this housing right here, as that's what holds it in place, and that's the correct way of doing it. So as you can see, mine's all done, and it's not a very difficult process. The biggest thing is you need to be extra careful with the tabs as you're doing it, and just pull it apart nice and slow so everything stays together. You don't end up breaking anything. And then also your float indicator, just kind of be careful with that, taking it in and out of the fuel cell. Alright, so the reassembly we'll walk through. Like I said, this just sits in there and it won't go anywhere, and this just tucks up the side. As you're doing this, it only goes on one way. Kind of work it down as you get down to the bottom here, you got to make sure these tabs just kind of press them in as you go. And there you go. Nice back together. The wire goes underneath the hose, up and around. There's little marks in the side of this, and you may need to kind of work it around a little bit. And just plug it back in. In fact, this top one does not have a hook on it. The bottom one does. Just connect it so it snaps. And then just work it up around the top. Like that. And there's your fuel assembly. Now, so we'll bring the tank back over and we'll just kind of work this back down in. And as we're doing this, I'm holding the gasket up top and in the manual, the shop manual from Ski-Doo, they say to seat the gasket in the tank, so that's what I'm doing first, and then we'll see if we can just kind of push this down in without my table tipping over, without using any of the good lube. There we go. It's nice and tight. Again, the ring, start one side, outer, just work it around, and there we go. Now it's back in, fuel tank's done, ready to go. Alright, we're going to remove the fuel line from the ECU, and it's the bottom line, the blue line here that has the filter and the Y in it. So on the ECU, there's a white tab on the connector. You push it toward the inner part, push it in, and then just pull it down, and it comes right off. Fuel's going to leak out of it again, and there you go. And we're going to be removing this section right here. And alright, so we're going to remove this piece of the fuel line right here in between the Y and the fitting that went into the ECU. We'll cut these clamps off, big old. So if I squeeze hard, I can take my screwdriver, kind of open this back up, and it pops open. So rather than trying to break it, nice thing about these clamps, they're a pain in the butt to get off, but they work. And just pop them open. So with that, those off, we need to remove that line there. And in the instructions it says you might need to cut that off this. Don't damage this because this is going to be reused on this. So I'm going to try to get it off without cutting it, but looks like I'm going to have to cut it. So I'm gonna grab my razor blade and I'll just kind of slice it going down nice and easy a couple different times, and that should open it up. And there you go. I'm going to discard that. Now, the way we hook this back up is the ECU fitting goes in the 3-inch side up on this side. The smaller piece goes into here like so. And then once it's all assembled, you tighten it up. So comes back up underneath here, and you just push it back up and it clips, and we're done. And we will use that when we hook up all the other stuff.